Warning, warning, cringy moment incoming. This is a cringe alert.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast. I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
They definitely have a male problem.
The imagine the work that went into that. I mean, that's like high production value commercial.
Is Jimmy
There's a
Kimmel,
lot of actors in there. There's people in there. There's production value.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they are all actors.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm saying the work that went into this is amazing. Okay. I mean, this is such a production. I mean, wow.
What blows my mind though is it's such a production, and it's you look at it, and I can't think of any male out there in America that'd be like, that ain't me. I'm not that guy. I mean,
well,
come on.
The black guy seemed quite legit. The fat guy looked legit. I mean, these guys should work all the time. They were very good, very good actors. Very good.
Especially the guy sideways on the tailgate.
Yeah, yeah. Some of them. I mean, whoever directed that, it should be working more. I'll tell you more than the alert. I'm going to tell you about Twisters. If there's a people don't want to learn about Twisters, you can mute us at this point. I just want to. I saw this film yesterday or day before yesterday, and you know, you remember the first Twister, right, Eric? I mean, and the reason I'm mentioning is because all the weather stuff and everything else is going on. I watched Twisters and paid for it, whatever. And I think it was Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton. Right in the first one. Okay. In this one, it's Daisy, whatever her name is, and this country guy. And he's got a YouTube channel, Eric. The reason I'm mentioning it, the Storm Chaser has a team like Tim Pool's team of young kids, and they chase tornado. You know, they chase Twisters. And then there's the girl who's the scientist, the girl who is the star. And she's got a group.
The responsible one. He's the irresponsible wild card.
So anyway, I make a long story short, trucks fly in the air. There's a couple of good scenes, you know, and I go, all right. There's some love interest. Like she hates this guy because he's such an over-the-top cowboy, twister chasing guy, but he's really smart. It turns out he knows his stuff. He's got a degree in meteorology, but he's making a fortune on YouTube. And the channel is them going into Twisters with their trucks and everything else. So she's working on somehow sending stuff up into the Twister to shut it down. That's been her dream since she was a kid, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really matter. The point of the matter is that there's a romance brewing. And at the end of the movie, she's going back to New York, even though she's a country chick. She works in New York. And they're at the airport, and he's in his car, and he realizes she's leaving, and he parks the car outside the airport and runs in, catches up with her before she gets on the plane. And this is the pinnacle moment, you know, at the end of the film. Richard Gere, Officer and a Gentleman with Deborah Winger, picks her up, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, there's no kiss, and she just leaves. They decided, this is why I'm telling you this segment, they decided at Universal Pictures not to have the two of them kiss, and just she walks away. And that's the end of the movie. And people are stunned. So I was stunned. I was completely stunned by this. So I had to look it up. And it turns out this director, this Korean guy, shot it both ways, with the kiss, without the kiss. He claims that when they screened the movie, women were cringing in the dark, and it's totally insane that women were cringing in the dark because this incredible hunk of a man was kissing this hot chick at the end of this romantic interlude that they had in the movie. It's complete bullshit. And it turns out the guy didn't have final cut at all, shot it both ways. And the gays at Universal and the women up there who are power brokers said, we do not want these two kissing. Fuck them. And it's just startling because the kiss has been leaked on YouTube where you could see them kissing. And it looks totally normal, Eric. Totally a great kiss. Totally the end of the movie. And this is where we are as a culture. Spielberg produced it, and he wanted them to kiss. They all got on the same page at the end saying, because they didn't want any fighting. So they all agreed after, when the publicity came out, that this was a unique way to end the movie without the kiss, because most movies would end with them kissing and having a happy ending. So this is all a crock of shit. The idea that this guy was in a dark screening room, seeing women revolting from a kiss in a dark screening room is completely bullshit.
Well, I don't know. He could have been Laura Boebert's movie.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now you fill out these cards, and you rate every scene, blah, blah, blah. The idea that women and people who were in this theater would rate the kiss to be completely abhorrent is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. That's why he shot it both ways. The executives at Universal said, we're not going to have a kiss. And that's why, among a million other reasons, Hollywood is dying because of incredibly insane hijinks like this. I mean, I was stunned at the end of this movie. And, it's a tentpole movie. It's a movie that,
Well, yeah, the guy was in Maverick, now that I think about it, the lead actor.
Very good actor. And she's great. And there's chemistry between them. And you're going, okay, this is where it is. She's leaving. This is the scene where they embrace and kiss. And, because the chemistry has been building, no kiss. And I just watched it with a friend. We were just stunned. I had to look it up and find out. I don't want to give anything away from the movie. There's a lot of great scenes of Twister stuff, but holy crap, what a down ending. Holy crap. I agree. And I actually like the premise, because I'm willing to bet if we looked around YouTube, there are knuckleheads who have a YouTube channel doing that kind of thing. I mean, okay, right. I agree. And the crew is very funny. You've seen them before. His YouTube crew. They're all kind of like wacky. But I'll tell you this, Helen Hunt, and this is part of the story I wanted to tell you, the legendary Helen Hunt wrote a script and gave it to Universal as a sequel to Twister about storm chasers that she wanted to direct. And this was in the works, and they screwed her. And now she's going to sue Universal Pictures. They took the script, gave it to this Chinese guy, and who directed a Mandalorian and fell in with Frank Marshall and that crew at Spielberg. And they gave him this. Guy made 2 indie films in South Korea, Eric. Wow. Yeah. And Helen Hunt is not happy about it. I'll tell you that much. I wouldn't be either. I mean, good Lord. No, good luck getting out of this one. I don't know if they even really care. Who's she even going to sue? Pay her off. They'll just pay. Yeah. Yeah. Or they'll say, oh, well, that was that studio. Universal's now here because the studios are moving around so much. I wouldn't even know who to sue. Yeah. Well, I mean, when I sued Paramount. They said we destroy our computers every year, like Hillary Clinton. Like we served them with Discovery to look into their computers to see that I was up there in a meeting with them, and they came into court. I swear to God, you can't make this up. And said this is all the computers at a company the size of Paramount. They told the judge we destroyed all our computers. No record of him ever having been there. The only thing that saved me was two things. One, I had a parking voucher to come on the lot, and two, it was in my diary, and the diary was admissible in federal court that I wrote that I was up there that day. And that's why I keep a diary even now, because that page in the diary was admissible. As long as it's not torn out, you could enter that in evidence, which is what I did.
So that was your most valuable diary page ever written?
Ever recorded, yeah, ever recorded. And that was the most valuable parking ticket I ever saved. But
now you save every parking ticket, period.
No, dude, I'm like a pack rat when it comes to this shit. No, because of what happened, Eric. Because of what happened. I mean, that was on the farm, with Al Pacino and Colin Farrell, and which became The Recruit. You can read about it in the book, The CIA.
Or you can watch our episode, CIA in Hollywood, and you break it all down.
But I just wanted to get into this movie and the politics of twisters. Now, to their credit, and to the attacks of people on the left, they didn't get into climate change at all. In other words, the climate change is not the cause of the twisters. There's no mention of climate change. I guess the negotiation was you're not going to have a kiss at the end. And I know this sounds crazy, but that's how they think. Like, you're not going to do us any climate change. Okay. We got to do away with the kissing at the end for our we're not going to have a cisgender kiss now. I'm not even kidding. That's how crazy they are.
I've seen the trailer, so I figure it's not spoiling by anything in the trailer, but what they showed in the trailer with the tornado going through, it looked like some sort of refinery or something on fire.
Oh, yeah.
With the fire. I was like, oh, that looks pretty hairy.
That was kind of cool. I don't want to give away all the scenes, but there's a lot, if you watch it on a big screen, in your own house, it's well worth it. I think it's down to $10 on Prime if you want to take a look.
So while we're talking about things on fire and burning down and everything else, let's hope this trend continues. Kamala is falling behind rapidly.
What?
3 new polls came out over the weekend.
So dark.
I don't know if you were watching or listened to What Are the Odds yesterday with Barris and Barnes.
I did.
You did?
I was just watching it this morning. Yeah. I was watching it this morning.
It's funny. They were bringing up Harry Anton, and I thought this was really, really significant what they were saying about young black males, very specifically.
Yeah.
And how Obama apparently had won the young black males by 82 points.
I just watched them right before the show. Go on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
then,
go on.
Hillary Clinton, 63 points. Then Biden, 53 points. Now Kamala, 41 points. So she's literally 50% of Obama. And, does she have a black male problem? Oh, hell yeah. She ran out Obama. I think that has blown up in her face because the young black males are saying, who the hell is this guy? What is he all about? And what did she put out today? Or overnight? Panderfest.
To create an opportunity agenda for black. Oh, she's just going to try to buy them now.
Yeah, it's
some money.
It's specifically right there a pander just for them. Provide 1 million loans that are fully forgivable to 20,000 for black entrepreneurs and others to start a business.
Wow.
Support education, training, and mentorship that includes that lead to good paying jobs.
Every
for
sentence has black men in it. Every single sentence.
Yes, it does. And by the way, this is borderline illegal.
Yeah.
Because the only saving grace in this is she said others in the first line. But every other part of this is saying this is only for black men, and that's violating the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
If they do it, yeah, absolutely. They'll be sued in a heartbeat. I mean, the same thing happened with black farmers. Remember, they tried to give out the money to the black farmers. They lost in court. That was considered unconstitutional. By the way, I'm in the woods in case people are wondering what the hell I'm doing here with this green screen.
Yeah, everybody's asking about your fake green screen.
This is my invention of a green screen. Stop knocking it. It works pretty well. Because I'm off the grid. I'm up in the mountains above Laguna Hills and the mountains here. So just a backdrop so we can focus more.
Right. And it's this, by the way, this is right on schedule too. Bill Maher, every other week he makes sense. So he'll make sense one week and then he's a complete idiot the next week. It's just, like a typical pattern.
I think his writers must be bipolar by now.
They've got to be. So right here on Friday, lack of support from black men for Kamala. Bad sign.
I think that I was just talking to someone this morning about this. And I think that black men do not like to be told by a person like her that she is a black person. I think they want to decide if you're a black person or not. Instead of being told that I am a black person, I think they want to decide themselves. Because I've seen a lot of videos of black guys saying, I'm not buying into it. This is an Indian. She said she's black. They're not buying into her blackness because of her trying to force it on them, not white people. Forget about white people. They're upset because she's telling them that she's black. And this guy said, we will decide if you're black, not you, not you. We will decide. And I never heard that before, Eric.
Well, I have actually, and Obama actually went through it a little bit early on. I don't know if you remember. Early in his candidacy, they were saying he wasn't black enough because he's half white. And then later on, you know, he managed to get his way in there, and they were okay with him over time. But yeah, I think that Obama made it worse for her. Because she's like, hey, I'm black. And they're thinking about it. He's saying, hey, get off your ass and you do this. You do this. And
there was a cat named Bobby Rush out of Chicago, was an alderman, ran against Obama, beat him in Chicago. Ex-Black Panther, of course. And he was the first one to say he wasn't black enough. This came from a Black Panther in Chicago, and the first time he ran, and he lost to him. I think it was an alderman race, and I forget the terminology there, but I think it was an alderman. And Bobby Rush beat him, and that's when Obama started to shift gears, that he lost because this guy said he wasn't black enough. Of course, the guy was super black. He was a Black Panther. But nevertheless, Obama, the other part of it is marrying a black woman. I don't know if you saw that story that came out last week by the guy who wrote his biography, the Pulitzer Prize winning author. It kind of went under the radar. Like 6 or 7 years ago. And he said that in the book that Obama had this white girlfriend, a series of white girlfriends at Columbia. And he told them, I can't marry you because I'm running at 25. He said, I will be running for president of the United States and I have to have a black wife. And this is some sort of racial thing in Chicago also, that there are politicians who had white wives who were black in Chicago and their careers petered out because they weren't accepted in the black community completely. Another racist, bizarre thing, but nevertheless.
Now, is it a black bride or a black beard?
No, I'm just saying that I'm just saying that the white wife thing is a thing that he talks about in the interview in the book, saying, and tells the girl who's in love with him and he's in love with her in Columbia University at the age of 25 that he's not going to marry her because he's going to run for president in 15 years.
Which, yeah, I mean, he's been groomed for that his whole life. This is interesting. Shaw, I'm still voting for Garvey. In the debate, he said he voted for Trump.
That's right. He did. That's right. The last election, he voted for Trump. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I mean, what's the choice? Adam Schiff? I mean, give me a break. The point of the matter is your vote is worthless because he's 36 points behind now. Couldn't even get off his fat ass and go to Coachella, get up on stage like everyone else did with Trump. He does not want to be seen with Trump. He's willing to lose, and I think it's to steal the money. He's got tax debts up the kazoo, Garvey. He's a crook. He's been a crook for years. He's been, all kinds of financial lawsuits against him. He's owes trillions of dollars in taxes, and I think he's just going to keep the campaign money. That's my take on the goddamn thing. I mean, of all the candidates, Schiff kept promoting Garvey. He wanted a race against Garvey. So when they were, and the other candidates went berserk saying this during the primary. And he wanted Schiff. Schiff wanted Garvey because it was an easy takedown. And Schmucky Garvey, instead of begging Trump to come and campaign with him, would rather lose by 33 points. But I think there's more to it.
That could be. Okay, so the desperation of Harris continues.
Yeah.
Supposedly she's going on with Brett Baer.
Yeah, what is this?
Tomorrow night on Wednesday. Well, come on, she's desperate. If she's going to not only go on Fox News, but she'll go on with Brett Baer, who will actually ask questions, follow questions. Well, that's coming up as well, possibly. I don't know if she's going to go on with Rogan. I know that her people are talking with Rogan's people.
Yeah.
But I was listening to somebody earlier, and I think they had a good point. Do you think she'll try to put so many guardrails on this? Like, oh, well, she can't talk about this. She can't talk about that. And I can see Rogan be like, it's a hangout. We're just going to talk. And she'll just come out and say, well, I decided he's really a misogynistic, blah, 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 blah. And we can't go on there. So
no, I think it's going to be Rogan and I'll tell you why, because Rogan had on Bernie Sanders, and it's going to be like that. He did have Bernie Sanders, and he will have Kamala Harris. And he will give her softball questions because that's Joe Rogan. That's what he does.
And if he does, fine. I mean, she's had a nightmare of a time with softball questions.
Mm-hmm.
Even, I mean, The View. Have you seen that?
Saying that Rogan is not going to mistreat her and browbeat her into submission. He is going to be smiley. Just look at the Bernie Sanders one. He never really gets tough at all with Sanders. He loves Sanders. Said, hey, I think he voted for Sanders. And he may indeed vote for her. Who the hell knows? I mean, when Trump comes on, which I don't know when it's going to happen. I guess it's got to happen soon, right?
I guess.
I mean, have you heard any
pretty soon? There's not much time left.
Yeah, no, I know. Maybe they'll have them on at the same time.
Well, I mean, they could be doing it right now because Rogan doesn't do it live anymore. Everything is pre-recorded, and in fairness, it would probably be logical to say, he's probably going to go, and then just do it, and then have it in the can.
I think Sweden is going to force him to have Kamala Harris because I think their heads exploded when he agreed to do Trump, and I think they demanded immediately that if he's going to do Trump, he's got to do Kamala Harris. That's my take on it. Spotify I'm talking about.
I can't. Honestly, if he did not do Trump, he looks like the idiot. Yeah. Because all of his second tier people, and I'm not trying to be mean to them, but Theo Vaughn is a comedian in the Rogan orbit. Andrew Schultz, another Rogan, comedian, and they're all in his orbit. And it's like, if all of your quote unquote seconds or the people around you can get Trump and you can't, what's wrong with you? I think it looks more embarrassing on him than Trump. I don't even know that Trump needs Rogan.
I don't think so either. At this point, it is what it is. I mean, we're through this now. I mean, I think the cake has been baked. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And, if you're with us on election night, you're going to find out together, unless you want to stay at home on your couch. We're all getting together to celebrate the rebirth of America down in Boca Raton election night. I hope you can somehow get it together to get down there, because the alternative is you and your spouse alone in your living room when you could be with us with a live coverage at americasuntoldstories.com. I think it's going to be a mega event. I got a feeling that this is going to be a celebration on Tuesday, November 5th. And we're going to make sure that we have a good time with dinner and drinks and everything else. And like I said, I've taken out a COVID loan to get money to buy drinks when Trump wins a battleground state. Everyone gets around on me. So I put in for a COVID loan to make sure I've got financing.
Yes, and that is our goal. Because, by the way, this is Mark who's paying. I'm not paying it. Mark is paying that all on his own. Let's make Mark go broke. I think that's funny. Good times all around. I'm all for that. I will take a drink from Mark.
Okay, well, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, we're going to do a live event. So it happens to fall on a Tuesday, which it normally does, the same as the show. So Eric realized it a couple months ago. And it's going to fall on a Tuesday, and we're on a Tuesday anyway. So it's going to go out live as a live show with a live audience. And we're going to have live coverage on a big screen of who's ever covering it, Fox or Newsmax or somebody, Eric. We'll have the
hopefully like Rich, the People's Pundit, the people that we know, etc. Definitely.
Right. So we're going to have some live feeds from other podcasters, and it's going to go on for hours. So this is not a 2-hour event. So dress comfortably for this. And remember to vote before you get there. Don't show up and say you didn't vote. So you got to vote before you show up. You could vote that day, depending on how close you are to what time do the polls open normally? It opens before you go to work, right?
It depends on where you are.
Places.
Some are like 6 a.m. but I don't know the.
Yeah, I thought so. Right. You could vote at 6 a.m. and then get on a plane or get in your car and come to Boca, which is kind of in the middle of Florida. Yeah, Kevin. I mean, dude, that's his mantra, bro. I mean, I'm just offering to buy everyone a drink. I don't give a shit. But because I think if he wins the battleground states, I'll be more than happy to buy the drinks. I could care less. But I mean, for every battleground state Trump wins is one, nail in the coffin for her, depending on which battlegrounds they are.
No, especially
Pennsylvania.
If she picks up
Arizona,
if he picks up Arizona, North Carolina, even without Pennsylvania
and Georgia, Eric.
Georgia, Arizona, North Carolina could take care of Pennsylvania, even.
That's
right.
It's
right. The highest.
Well, I don't see how she wins Pennsylvania. These numbers seem pretty solid.
Or Michigan at this point.
Wisconsin, Michigan, and Nevada seem to be the three questionable states, but they don't add up to the other states in terms of electoral votes. Did you see this schmuck Tim Waltz? They asked him about the some black dude on CNN asked him about the Electoral College and how he wants to get rid of it. And he says, and they said this differs. The Harris campaign immediately came out and said, we disagree with him. We're not calling for the dissolution of the Electoral College. And he did this tap dance that was so crazy, saying, no, it's mine. It's not the campaign's. I'm with the campaign. I agree with the campaign. Dude, it was such a freaking tap dance by this fat dude who may or may not have some other issues, Eric.
I'm not going to cover those issues at this point because the source of them looks very, very, very sketchy and Photoshop documents, things like that. I wouldn't recommend anybody buy into that.
I looked at it too. But dude, the guy who was arrested, we got to get into the third assassination attempt.
Quote.
I reached out to them. No, I know.
Quote unquote for sure.
Not even quote unquote. It was nothing. I mean, he's with what's his name down there? Nixon's friend, and he is saying that every single allegation is bullshit. Every single allegation is bullshit. Was not in danger. The man arrested on a gun charge. They said he had false passports.
I want to go over that right now.
Go ahead. Let's go over it. Yeah.
Okay. Because in this that you sent me, where was it? He talked about, I swear the sheriff said he was being arrested over the false plate, false passport, the multiple IDs and the guns, right? And he's being arrested for that. Oh, okay. That's what you said. He's being arrested for that. Hold on. Let me go. Let me look here. Let's look at the evidence. Let's look at the arrest report. No. He was arrested for a firearm and a magazine. So already we're lying. Where are the forged documents? Where are the fake documents charges? Those are not there.
It's so crazy. It's so I saw him. He broadcast an interview of himself yesterday on his own YouTube channel, which I watched. And he went over all of this situation point by point. What happened? He showed up. He got out of his own car. He told them he opened up his own trunk. This is Vem Miller. He is originally from California. He's got a master's degree from UCLA. He ran for office as a Republican down in Nevada out of Vegas a couple of years ago. This is the guy, Coronado, who is going to be sued and will the LA County Sheriff's Department for millions of dollars. They doubled down, kept smearing the guy as being a sovereign citizen. He denies being a sovereign citizen. He denies having a phony license plate. He denies having phony passports. I mean, everything. It's insane.
Look at his signature.
It's absolute. Go ahead.
Look at his signature.
Who's that? Under Dupree? What does that mean?
I am under distress. He wrote, I am under distress. That's how he signed it.
Wow. And that the guy's name is Coronado. There's his badge number, 57. Yeah, 5731. That guy's in a lot of trouble because the situation is Roger Stone is now on this. Roger Stone had him on his show yesterday. Every single thing was made up by the sheriff's department. And Eric pointed out that this sheriff took a knee during the during the whatchamacallit riot.
BLM riots. He was that knucklehead sheriff, and somebody had pointed out to me, and I didn't remember it. But yeah, remember there was that sheriff who was out there kneeling with the protesters. This guy is a total glory hound, headline chaser. It appears to me, and apparently this summer around June timeframe, he had flipped to Trump suddenly.
Right. Now I saw the press conference that he had. There were no other officers. He came out alone, the sheriff, nobody in back of him standing there, none of that stuff. And it became extremely contentious. The press conference he started arguing with reporters. This is him dealing with the BLM protesters. Yeah. What did you say? BLM, right? Chad Bianco. Chad Bianco comes out, and one of the reporters said to him, because he was already saying this was an assassination attempt, that he thwarted it. And the female reporter said, did he say anything about trying to assassinate Trump? Did he say anything? He loses his shit, starts yelling at her, and he says, if this is where we are politically, we're in a very sad place. He had false ID, guns, ammo, phony license plates, and he starts yelling at the reporter in the press conference. And I watched the full presser. It was about an hour. And holy crap, is this guy in trouble? And he kept doubling down, Eric, about all of these phony things.
Yeah, well, I mean,
what Vem Miller
it appears like he's caught in a lie, and he's just throwing and throwing. It's called chap and redirect. It's a common thing, and he'll get more aggressive. Like, how dare you question my integrity? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Vem Miller said the deputy found out, of course, that he was a Trump supporter, and who else would be going there? And he had a personal invitation, a pass from a head of the Republican Party of Las Vegas or Nevada. I forget whether it was the state or the city. I mean, this guy's totally well connected, as you know. You could show some of the photos of some of his friends. One of them is a close friend of ours.
Oh, I'd have to go to his Instagram. Hey, hang on.
Can you do that, or is that?
Yeah, it'll take me a second while you're talking.
Okay. Anyway, so Vem Miller says that once the guy found out he was a super Trump supporter, the deputy wanted to make an example of him and got into an argument with him. He had got, like, the idea, somebody said to him, to the sheriff, was how is he going to get the guns in? In other words, he's in a parking lot with guns in his trunk. How is that a threat to anybody on the inside of a venue, Eric? You know what I mean? Like, you'd have to it's like you might as well have them in your house.
Well, we've talked about that. Yeah, my authentication's a problem. How many other people going to that Trump festival have guns in their damn car in the parking lot? That a lot of Republicans are going to have
courtesy, right? Here's a courtesy that he does when he goes to an event, and he crossed over the county line, the state line from Nevada into California. So he's being charged with a misdemeanor because of California's gun laws, which are, I don't know how the United States Constitution ends when you drive into Indio, Coachella from the state of Nevada. I don't know how the Second Amendment is altered by driving across a state line, and you're still in the same country. I mean, he should fight this gun charge with some powerful lawyers, just the gun charge itself, to make it into a cause celeb. Because he said he didn't realize he had driven across state lines. That's hard to believe. I mean, he knows he's going to California.
That's a little silly on that.
That's a little silly. But, I mean, this guy is either full of shit, Vem Miller, or the deputy is full of shit. Both sides cannot be right here.
No, I'm going to say that the deputy is, simply because of the fact that the arrest report, if they found these other documents, which to me are far more damning than the BS gun bit. Yeah. If they found those should have been noted. And by the way, especially if he had a false plate.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There's no way I could see a false plate not being there. Why wasn't his license seized? Why wasn't the vehicle towed away? Because
impounded, of course.
It would definitely be impounded. Come on now.
He said that they found the VIN number after much research, and he told the reporters, this is the sheriff in the presser, that indeed he owned the car. And I'm going like, what? What is this press? I mean, the press conference should be screened for students to learn press bullshit in college. I mean, this thing should be studied, by psychologists, because holy crap. And the sheriff ended up in the first row at the Trump event, by the way.
Yeah, because I think he had turned at that point, and there you go. I mean, it is a BS disaster area. Let me get this real quick. Yeah. Monica, we will be possibly in Dallas if Trump wins.
Monica, you missed us every single year. Now, because all of a sudden you're hip to us, you want us to come to Dallas. The rule is you can't live within 100 miles. Is it 100 or 200, Eric?
I think you said 200 before.
200 miles. We cannot go to a place where someone requests us unless they live 200 miles from the place, to take away the selfishness of you not getting off your fat ass to come to Boca Raton. So I'm going 3,000 miles to go to Boca. Eric's going as far as Eric goes, driving, whatever he's doing. But if you live in Dallas, Fort Worth, and you just keep demanding that we come there, you're going to have to trade something to get us to go there. But we may go there anyway, so we'll see what happens.
Right. But it is up in the air, though. I mean, it literally is riding on the election.
Yeah.
And more.
And more. Yeah, much more.
So, all right. So, it's fun to have so many different things to talk about, and actually, have encouraging news with the election. But
what do you have?
We have right now. Well, I mean, we've got Biden sabotaging her.
Yeah, I don't understand this storyline, how he's sabotaging her. I've looked into what is the sabotage? I can't really find. Maybe and I didn't see it. What is it exactly?
Well, okay. The 2 points specifically are when she finished the debate, and I actually think that was her high point, was the debate.
Yeah.
The next morning, he was putting on a MAGA hat, which is a very interesting parallel. But then, hold on. Then later on, after with Milton, he's trying to start a fight with Ron DeSantis and saying that Ron DeSantis wouldn't take her call. And DeSantis is saying, look, I've been doing this for 3.5 years. She's never called. I have things to do. I'm talking to the president. I'm talking to people. I got a job to do. Biden comes out and says, Ron DeSantis is doing a fantastic job. We're talking all the time.
Very subtle. Very subtle.
But the subtlety,
it's subtle. It's subtle. But,
well, you can't do it directly. I mean, and then Bill Clinton did not help her very much. I don't know if you saw that when Bill Clinton talked about the illegal immigrant, whatever you call him anymore, who killed that poor girl in Georgia. And he said that, yeah, she was killed by an illegal who was not vetted. If that person had been vetted, she wouldn't have died.
Okay.
And by the way, and Trump took that clip, and this is something I think has been great. Trump took that clip and they put out an ad. I approve this message.
Oh, that's funny. That's
and
funny.
he did it also.
The story that I'm hearing is the friction internally because the Biden people are not clearing what they're doing with her camp. In other words, he came out, but again, it might not be it may just not be intentional. It may just be a clusterfuck of real problems because they feel they shouldn't have to clear it with the vice president when he's giving a press conference. And her people are saying, yes, you do, because it's stepping on us and we have to rebound. Is that intentional? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know.
Well, I think it's an interesting situation here because it's sort of like, who's the boss?
Yeah.
He's running for it. He's not, but technically he's the damn president. So he's the boss. So shut up, Kamala. And I think that there is a problem in a power shifting issue. And you talked about that. We've talked about that before, that how are we going to deal with that? You need to keep Biden as far away from her as possible because it's an everyday reminder. No, she's not the president. Even though, to repeat that, The View, Sonny Hostin of all people, burned Kamala and didn't even mean to, and said to Kamala, what, if anything, would you do differently? And Kamala was like, well, no, I don't think I would do anything differently. Trump took that clip and dropped a I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Right.
So, I mean, I love that.
Look, I hope there is friction. I'm just saying you're going to have to read in between the lines to see that friction. I mean, the Post is putting out articles, and I looked at them, and it's hard to discern if it's intentional, is all I'm saying.
Well, either way, I hope it is happening. I don't care if it's intentional or not.
No. Right. I mean, it is
I like
happening.
the results.
There's no dispute that it's happening. I just don't know if it's intentional.
Fair enough. Okay, another headline that just literally came out before I started the show. Border Patrol agents threaten to leave in droves if Kamala wins. Not doing this shit again.
Okay, well, I mean, that's the new thing of everyone's leaving the country if the other side wins. There's a new version of that, I guess. Also, I heard
I can see a lot of them that are getting ready for retirement saying, "Oh, you know what? I'm retiring. I'm moving to another agency."
If they haven't already, I mean, after 4 years of this, I mean, you're still hanging around. I mean, come on, it's kind of crazy.
Well, they got to hit the number. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to retire tomorrow."
No, I agree. I agree, but I mean, they've had 4 years to work this out. I mean, to get out of the same thing happened with New York police. I mean, they've been wiggling out of this and retiring in droves in the past 4 years and 3.5 years of crazy crap in New York.
Well, fair enough. And then, but continuing this, actually, one of our moderators, Susan, sent this in, but feds admit child sex trafficking reports triple under Harris and Biden.
I mean, there's so many missing children. I mean, this is so crazy. This is the darkest part of the entire story of the missing children, how nobody will mention anything about this. And this is absolutely happening, whether it's sex trafficking or not. These children are missing, and nobody seems to give a damn.
Yeah.
I mean, where are they? Where are these kids?
I
mean, where do you think they are? I mean, I
already know where a lot of them are. It's a case of, remember, they're bringing in, quote, accompanied minors.
Yeah.
What do you think that's about?
They're
not the parents of the kids. Okay.
No.
They get separated when they come inside, if you will.
Yeah.
And so if you have 4 times the influx, and these types were happening under Trump too. I'm not going to pretend.
Yeah, no, I know. I agree.
But if you take that number and you quadruple it, or you make it worse and you're lax and you give an open door, of course these are going to go up like crazy. That's where a lot of them are. And sadly, I don't know where they are. They're in the country somewhere. And God help them. God help them.
Yeah,
I feel terrible about it. It's not even it's
There's
not a
another
political
town,
point.
There was another town in Ohio where there's 3,500 people in the town. They dropped in 3,000 people from Africa, from the air, flying them in. This town has now 6,500 people, and 3,000 come from the Congo. And a lot of these are so under the radar because they've paid off city officials to make this thing go smoothly. That's just a fact. And, if you're on a city council in some little town in the middle of Ohio and somebody throws you $25,000 in cash, you're going to shut your trap. You're just going to shut your trap. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sadly. And they coincidentally do it in swing states. I noticed that too. Mm-hmm. Specifically in areas that are slightly more rural, or
they're suing Virginia, Eric, to put the illegal aliens back on the rolls. The Biden administration is suing the state of Virginia that took them off, non-citizens, to put them back.
Yeah, that's okay. That one there is some nuance in it. I think they should find a way to keep them off anyway. But the nuance is technically you're not allowed to, quote unquote, adjust voter rolls within X amount of time of the election. I think it's 60 days. Right. And that is the counterclaim. So I do want to put out there that there is a counterclaim. But my issue is that, well, wait a minute. If then I have 100 felons that are on there,
or felons are dead. Yeah,
right. That's my argument. Yeah, so
you have to put 1,000. Let's say it's 1,000 dead people, and the lawyers.
I'm sorry, 90 days.
90 days. If the lawyers prove this is 1,000 dead people on the Virginia rolls, you can't remove the 1,000 dead people because you're within 90 days. That's insane.
Yeah, it does seem it seems like
insane.
an odd law, and it should be challenged. And it should
let's
be,
get it on. Let's get it on. Let's challenge this.
I'm glad that Youngkin's out there fighting.
Yeah, and I'm glad they're off the rolls. Well, what are they going to do? Beat us up? I mean, how do you get them back on the rolls? You know,
I don't know.
Some odd days left. It's not going to happen. But it just shows you their mindset, bro. They will fight to the death over illegal bullshit with Mark Elias.
You know what? Youngkin's. I will make sure they are back on the rolls November 6th.
That's funny.
Because that's their thing. Hey, the sentence will
Yeah,
end
they're
November 6th.
They're on the rolls.
There
They've been voting. They're voting 4 years.
You win.
Yeah,
and we'll make sure they get off before the next. We'll give you plenty of time before the next election, but they'll be on the rolls on November 6th.
Notice.
And Eric R is right here. It does show that they're scared of losing Virginia. And that's one that I am not certain of. Virginia is definitely a blue state. I do think it's riskier than a lot of people realize, and it would be amazing if Trump could pull it out. If Trump pulls out Virginia, then he's got the election, because that means he's cut everywhere else and probably won all swing states. Yeah. He's picking up, new things.
Well, this Madison Square Garden event is going to be very interesting to come into the belly of the beast of a blue state,
Yeah. By the way, Barris also told us he really thinks pretty strongly that Trump's going to win Maine. And it's only 3 electoral votes.
Yeah, it's only 3 electoral votes. It's merely symbolic. I don't give a shit about Maine. He's hung up about Maine. I know it's important as is that you or me? Those sirens.
I don't know. That's you.
Anyway, it could be coming. Anyway, so yeah, I know Maine would be indicative of a sweep. I think that's what he means.
All right. And okay.
The symbolism of Maine.
I have been corrected. Thank you for the $5, but under duress, not under distress. Come on home. Okay.
Dude.
Oh my God.
Dude, these are your people, Hunley. These are the Spectrum followers.
No, they're here for you, Mark.
No.
They're like, why the hell is that Hunley guy here? Why is that Hunley guy here?
I go right at him. He called her a retard, and it's one of the great moments of the campaign where they flipped out that this slur. I thought he used some racial slur because the New York Times.
He said the R word.
Yeah, I thought it was race or something, and he said the tard word, and I just more power to him. It's totally New York, bro. Totally New York. I have never given up that word. Nobody has. I mean, it's just if you're a certain age. I mean, maybe the kids don't say it anymore.
Well, that's like the F word.
Really?
A bundle of sticks. Everybody. Right. Because when I was growing up, and I don't know if it was your generation or not, but they threw it around all the time. UF. It's just a.
Definitely. Of course. Yeah. Of course.
I mean, it's just like R word, a moron.
Well, the whole thing has come down to, we'd like you not to say this word, and then you go, no, I'm going to continue saying it, and then they go, well, we're going to go to your employer. That's what's happened over the past 20 years. It's different from back in the day. They will go to destroy you because you will not take a knee about a particular word. And that's fascism, bro. That is what it is. Call it what it is. That's fascistic.
They've been doing it for a while now.
I know. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. It really is that simple. You're saying a word. They don't like the word. They say it's not being used anymore. You put up a fight over a word. Their next step is destruction of you and your economic foundation. And I'm not even exaggerating. That's how far this thing goes and how crazy it is. And it has to end November 5th. This thing has to end.
Sirhan's legal team did it with you on your Twitter feed, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They went through my Twitter feed and they said this guy cannot be representing or helping Sirhan's parole. Plus, he was a supporter of Israel. Me, that is. Sirhan found out and wrote the Sirhan letter, as we call it now. The famous Sirhan letter about me, which will go into my personal Hall of Fame.
Which it should. I think that's.
I mean, not everybody has Sirhan writing a letter to get rid of me.
All right. Well, speaking of people who are anti-Israel or mingling with terrorists, back to our girl of the day. Kamala Harris.
Where does she stand? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, you sent me this, that she mingled with a Tehran regime operative who promotes terrorism.
Right.
You know,
Right. I mean, but where is she now? She has moved so far to the middle. She has moved so far to the middle that she's almost to the right of Bill Clinton.
I don't think she's anywhere.
Where is she? Where is she?
I think she's just not talking about it.
Yeah.
I think she would stop talking about it because, and that's part of the reason it's ironic. Donald Trump has been picking up endorsements from Democrat Arab American mayors in Michigan.
Yeah, I mean,
because they know where he stands. They're like, oh, we know where this guy stands, and I think that's an issue with her. She's trying so hard to, wiggle around. I'd say she's probably pretty much pro-Iran, helped get him money just like Biden did, just like Obama did, but she's not going to say that right now. And there you go.
To our friends on the left, Max Blumenthal and the Jimmy Dore types, you either stand with Israel or you stand with the Tehran mullahs, the theocracy that brutally rules Tehran and Iran. That's the choice. I know you don't like Israel. I know you don't like the Jews, but you're either on at this point in world history, you're either on the side of Iran or on the side of Israel. That's it. You could say all you want, Max Blumenthal and Jimmy Dore, but you're now tied in with the turban-wearing mullahs in Tehran who run a brutal religious theocracy over the poor people of Iran who are yearning to breathe free and get out of the yoke of religious persecution by these mullahs, many of them named Khomeini.
Yeah, for sure. And it is funny because it's been a few years, but did you see some of that footage where they deliberately laid the American flag on the ground so they would have to walk on it every time they go in and out?
Yeah,
and they show, but they show young Iranians jumping to not step on it.
Yes. These people need to be free. This is not Israel versus Italy. This is not Israel versus Panama. This is Israel versus a brutal theocracy that's trying to get a nuclear weapon, somehow has gotten their hooks into the State Department, somehow has gotten their hooks into Obama through his chief assistant who was born in Tehran, somehow has gotten into the Biden administration and gotten this money unleashed so they could do all these terrorist things. That's where Jimmy Dore and Max Blumenthal stand. That's who they support. I don't know how you do that morally. It's an absurd position to be in. I don't know how they could make all the statements they want about Netanyahu. It's not going to change how brutal the mullahs are. I'm sorry. The guy was elected. He's got a very high and increasing approval rating in Israel, as does Trump, by the way, who's up to 67% approval in Israel. For people who don't follow this, they may not be aware of how Trump is revered in Israel. The State Department is now refusing to acknowledge that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel after Trump finally moved the embassy there. Nice work, Biden people, with 90 days left of your stinking lives. Nice work. Tip of the hat. It's going to end in about 3 weeks.
3 weeks from today, and everyone will be watching it with us in Boca or here, because we will be streaming it.
I'm bringing a pallet of cash, a huge pallet. I'm going to fly it in. And I'm just going to start buying drinks. Just get online. It doesn't matter if it's North Carolina. It's a battleground state. You get free drinks. That's it. If it's in Michigan, God bless you. I don't care. All right. Well, I'm going to take half that pallet and retire. No. You're not getting anything, Hunley. This is for the people, the American people. That's what we're doing this for fans of the show.
All right. Well, okay. Kamala managed to get the high-profile cover of Vogue magazine because obviously that is highly political, very aware, hard-hitting journalism. However, when it comes to time, apparently she can't be interviewed. She doesn't have time for time.
Weird. Well, she doesn't have time for any interview. I mean, women I know and women who are in that world of Vogue and magazine covers have told me that in their world, this has become a laughingstock. The cover itself, the artistic merit of the cover, according to women I know who follow that arty thing, they have told me that this photograph cover, despite it being Annie Leibovitz, is a complete thumbs down. I don't know. I don't.
This is why I'm feeling better about everything. Is because I feel like that the worm has turned. The fact that Saturday Night Live is just outright mocking the hell out of her and doing it effectively and funny.
Yeah,
it's like
as they go, so goes the nation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Dana Carvey's doing a fantastic job coming back as Biden. I love the way he's doing that. Maya Rudolph, I think it is.
Dude, Maya Rudolph's gonna make a career out of this thing.
If we could just get that SD Patel's voice with her though, because SD Patel is so perfectly on and between the two of them, you have like the perfect. One of the best things I've seen since Sarah Palin. Who was the actor who did Sarah Palin?
Oh, I forgot. Right, she was very good too.
Yeah, for the looks and everything, it was like really close.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go into. Well, I guess Kamala's next career shouldn't be an author. Christopher Rufo has been doing some work.
Dude, go Rufo on this. Holy crap. I mean, she is using Wikipedia to plagiarize her book, and Rufo has exposed her as a plagiarist. Holy crap, is she retarded?
Well, now we know why she got the job, right? I mean, her boss is a world famous plagiarist.
Yeah.
So it's just isn't that a core part of the administration?
Well, Biden was known for plagiarism. That's what one of the scandals that plagued him was plagiarism. Obama famously hired Bill Ayers to ghostwrite his memoir, and Bill Ayers came back for more money. This is one of the heads of the Weather Underground. I mean, how this is not an issue is totally bizarre. If he had chosen the head of the Black Panthers, it would have been less destructive than Bill Ayers and the head of the Weather Underground writing your memoir. I mean, unbelievable.
I totally agree. Christopher Rufo had a follow-up today.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, they accidentally copied him on a letter, an internal email. And they were saying, what is it? Please do not respond or comment on any inquiries regarding Smart on Crime, and please continue to forward them directly to me. Really appreciate your help on this. It's a very sensitive topic.
Wow. And they mistakenly emailed him?
Yes.
Oh my God. It's
like those subpoenas when they accidentally, send evidence. It's something similar to, I'm like, oh man.
Oh my God. The Lord is working in magical ways right now.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of magical, we were talking about this before we went on, and I think we should always break up the show for something cool or amazing. And I've never seen anything like this.
What? That is wild, man.
That's too loud, but watch this. It's just so cool. This rocket, and you're like, well, oh wait, it's going backward.
I thought the film was just going backwards.
I know it's amazing. It's so truly amazing. Look at that. I mean,
look at that, dude. That is so crazy.
It really is astounding, and it's crazy to consider it. You have Boeing that is sending up astronauts to be stranded in the only mission they've been able to pull off. Meanwhile, SpaceX is. Well, they're landing on a platform. That's not good enough for them. Let's go ahead and land.
Look how many nerdy guys love this thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
Look at these are
that's the
bros.
Team.
These are Musk bros. Yeah.
Well, they work there. I think that's employees. I mean, it's not that often that you get to have that kind of shared moment, though, amongst everybody like that. And it is amazing. You saw it
with the Apollo program, with NASA back in the heyday, Apollo 11 and some of the other moon landings earlier on. That type of energy, that type of celebration of actually making it work, And
a lot of that, I got to give credit to Kennedy. He got a lot of that national attitude, and also the value of STEM that we used to have, because he made it a national project. Everybody be a scientist. how many scientists became a scientist because of, that time with Kennedy? And, sadly, that's kind of gone away.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's all women's studies. Now we have, Indigenous People Day. Things like that. I have no idea who he's calling to, but all right. Good times. Moving on to here, we've got. You here?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm dealing with some technical issues. Go ahead.
I see that. All right. I'm going to distribute it. I'm going to play this. This is very interesting. We know that they changed the answer on 60 Minutes.
Oh, yeah.
In the Kamala interview, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't stop there, though. Now, it's a little harder to hear the second part of this, but Mike Johnson has come out.
Yeah, what's with this story? I didn't see this. I didn't read this yet. Go on.
Okay, so this is something that was aired on CBS, and then you'll see the actual full answer.
So that's a different accounting than this 2% you say was distributed.
Yeah, so they've obligated some funds, but they've only distributed 2%. The rescue and recovery effort's still going on, and then we address the rest of it.
So that's a different accounting than this 2% you say was distributed.
Yeah, so they've obligated some funds, but they've only distributed 2%. And when I was there on the ground, and you should go, I mean, bring the cameras and talk to the people there. They'll tell you, don't take politicians' words for this or the administration's word. Talk to the people there on the ground. They had not been provided the resources almost 2 weeks out from the storm that they desperately needed. And when I was there, 13 days post the storm hitting that state, people are still being rescued. They're stuck in the higher elevations in the mountains because the roads are down and all the rest. So they need every available resource and all hands on deck. The rescue and recovery effort's still going on. And then we address the rest of it.
So that's a different accounting than this.
Okay, so they left a little bit off of that answer, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm telling a lot of people are arguing with me about this license suspension thing. Let me just be emphatic about this. I understand that it's designed for local affiliates. The fact of the matter is the FCC can change any part of the FCC guidelines, and they have historically. You used to not be able to own a network and a newspaper, for instance, and that was from 1977, and they changed that in 2020. Okay, so anything that a 3-2 vote in an FCC commissioner who would be a Trump appointee can be altered. I know they just keep saying this repeatedly, that the FCC can change or suspend a license. The FCC can change whatever the FCC effing wants.
I think that there's already proof of it on the record. I'm not going to say it was certain, but I think I'm right. Does everybody remember the wardrobe malfunction of Janet Jackson on the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Who do you think got fined? Local stations?
No.
They went after the Super Bowl, Carrie. It was a national thing.
Absolutely.
So,
dude, these people are so emphatically wrong. And that's why Trump, I must have somebody watching the show because we've discussed this here for months. They can yank the license of anybody they want. If you've got 3 votes, 3-2 is what's been happening. The 3-2 vote is allowing George Soros to buy 200 AM radio stations, for Christ's sakes, in complete violation of their statutes. Give me a break on this thing, for Christ's sakes. Let's get this done. Let's get something. There's so much infighting about anything that's outside of the box. It's obvious why we're in the position that we're in.
I totally agree, but I like the fact that Mike Johnson, he had another one, by the way, I'm not going to show that, but yeah, I feel like every politician out there needs to take lessons from Alex Jones. And I don't know if you remember this going down, but remember, as Megyn Kelly did that interview with Alex Jones, and he recorded his end of it and released the full audio, so that way they couldn't sabotage him.
You have to do that now. Yeah, and not only that, I think you should establish it out front, and I think this would go a long way to stopping them. In other words, make it an official thing, not a surreptitious thing, saying, of course, I will be recording for my own protection the entire interview with you, as I am telling you right now on camera. I believe that would go a long way to stopping them, not doing it secretly and catching them off guard. Forget about that. Tell them I will record the entire interview to make sure we're both on a level playing field, Eric.
No, I
think that's the future way to handle this. So it becomes a fait accompli. It's just a thing that's done on both sides to keep both sides honest. Unfortunately, that's where we are. But I think if you're out front about it, they're not going to do what they've done to Mike Johnson and done to Donald Trump with Leslie Stahl on 60 Minutes and done recently with others.
Yeah, no, you're right. It would be kind of like a court record. I mean, there's a record of, both, and you're both supposed to talk and whatever, everything is on a record. And then it just becomes a standard operating procedure. Like, you got yours. Are you started? You started. Are we ready to go? Okay, we're ready to go. Blah, 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 blah. And then the advantage of what you're saying too is in their mind, they know they're being recorded. So now, let's keep the questions a little more.
It may alter their questioning. Who cares? It's the same as cameras in the classroom. People keep saying, well, they're not molesting them in the classrooms, Mark. Why should I agree to put cameras in the classrooms? Just the other day, there was a professor at the University of Kansas who happened to have a camera in the classroom who said these people who support Trump should be put up against the wall and shot. And then he looked up at the camera and he told someone to get that video so it doesn't get to the dean and I lose my job. That's why you need cameras in the classrooms, my friend. And I mean at the university level, and I mean at the elementary school level, to keep an eye on these nutbags with your children. And, are you going to catch everything? Of course not. Of course not. But it puts the fear of God into them, knowing they're being watched in a classroom.
Good. And, okay, this article just came out, I think today, but the jokes, no, it's actually a couple days old. Jokes on woke CBS News. Apparently, the new execs are considering blowing the place up.
This is great. Okay, so there's Megan Ellison from Annapurna, and Larry Ellison from Oracle is the father.
Oh, God, Larry Ellison's a mean bastard.
Right. Okay, so Larry Ellison and David Ellison, his son, the good son, the daughter, of course, is totally woke. She makes these woke films for Annapurna. That's her game, and it's the father's money. It's the father's money. Well, the father and David have purchased CBS from Paramount, and the sale has gone through, and they're going to take over in April. And unfortunately for CBS, one of his best friends, Larry Ellison's best friends, is a guy named Bibi Netanyahu. So this is going to be the end of CBS's anti-Semitic broadcasts. They're all freaking out about this. It's almost like Trump is taking over CBS. It's the next best thing. Larry Ellison of Oracle fame and money is taking over CBS, the Tiffany network, from Paramount.
You know what? That's got to be the best news for that poor anchor who just literally asked Ta-Nehisi Coates normal questions. He'll be like, okay, you can screw with me now. You got 5 months and come April.
5 months. This thing is over.
April, I'm going to be the head anchor, bitches.
Absolutely, bitches. And their days are numbered. Their days are numbered. They are freaking out over at CBS News.
Good. Maybe they'll get Cheryl Atkinson back. That's how long this shit's been going on, by the way.
She should be
Cheryl
the head
Atkinson
of the
left in like 2009, 2010 time frame. I mean, it's been a while. And she's a good reporter, interviewer, stellar person. All right, let's get some money. I like money.
Okay, it's going to pay
Pamela
for the
Clifton.
drinks. Okay,
happy Tuesday, guys. Another great thumbnail. I agree. President Trump's picture looks great with the election map. Come on, Bobby, U.S. flag. See, members, there are little emojis that have like "Come on, Bobby" and different things.
Mm-hmm.
Doc 5758, Mark, what are your thoughts of Trump going on Joe Rogan's
podcast? Let's get it on. It should have been done 6 times already. This is so stupid. This should have been done for years. He should be a regular guest on there. I mean, waiting to a minute to midnight by Joe Rogan only makes it more egregious. More egregious. He should have been a regular guest for 4 years on Joe Rogan. I would like to see a show where he comes on with Vivek and Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard, not just Trump. I'd like to see all of them on one show.
And you know what I'd like to see too? I want him to do it while he's president.
Yeah.
I think that the new media has proven its place. It's like once people are president, I got to give Obama credit. He did go on Mark Maron, a podcast, was the first one to do that. Whatever. It's better than Call Her Daddy. But anyway,
right, that's true. That's true.
But doing alternative media along with the real, quote, mainstream media. So you do 60 Minutes, you do Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan gets bigger numbers than 60 Minutes anyway. So it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Well, I wish you would do it now and not, on Monday night before, before the election. I mean, how many days we got left for him to do this?
Oh, 3 weeks from today. We will all be watching it in Boca Raton.
Oh, I got you. I better start. I'm not even home. I better start packing. I got to walk the dog.
Well, I thought you were en route.
No. This is a side trip I had planned into the woods.
Wait a minute. Walk the dog. I saw a picture on Twitter or X of a dog.
That's not.
Is that
no?
a new
That's
edition?
my friend. That's my friend's dog. No, that's
Okay.
I got playoff problems. I got the Mets and the game tomorrow night. I got to watch it in some restaurant over here, wherever the hell I am. And the game yesterday didn't go so well, so we got problems.
So is it Dodgers Mets?
LA versus New York. I mean, the last time it happened was the last time this happened was 1988, and it was a classic series. And there's some photo of me at Shea Stadium that we can dredge up after the game, which is somewhere because we did a shoot there when I had MTV Magazine. At the stadium afterwards. Yeah, in '88, after the Dodgers won.
Wow. All right, Nathan Shields said, "Can the illegals vote and steal it?"
Well, not according to Barnes and Barris. Barnes and Barris feel that this is such a small amount of people who would actually wait online to do this. It's not like they're vetted to go vote. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem. I mean, Barnes and Barris seem to think that it's just not going to happen in any numbers that make any sense.
Well, what you were saying though about poll watching would help too, because if they know that they're at risk of being picked up,
I said this, that we should have trucks driving around reading a statement of the law, not browbeating, not scaring, not violating civil rights, just reading from the law outside on a loudspeaker around voting centers where there's a lot of these cats. And if they're on that line and they begin to hear it in their language too, whatever the cockamamie language they speak, Congolese, I think they'll run and hide and stop standing online.
Definitely.
I don't think it's a civil rights violation.
Dodger fan rips on Steve Garvey. LOL, go Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, Garvey, look, he's a great player, but he's got a nefarious post-career, just put it that way, involving money and stuff and sexual stuff and everything else. I mean, it's just sad that this guy ended up against Adam Schiff, who will be a senator for the rest of his life. Everybody knows he's going to be a Dianne Feinstein. He's not, unless he runs for something else or there's some scandal with Adam Schiff, he can literally be the senator from California for the rest of his life.
All right. Let's see if I got that. Somebody said try Vem Miller's. Wow, he does have an IMDb.
Yeah, no, he's the real deal.
Well, I didn't know if it was okay. Try Vem Miller's IMDb. Later, dudes. Thank you, Mr. Mike. And let's take a look at that. See what he has done.
He said he worked in LA for years as a movie producer. And there's 4 good credits. Those are real credits. 4 episodes.
Rescue. That sounds familiar.
I never heard of any of these things, but they're all legitimate TV shows, with credits. He said he was making a 6-figure salary for many years. And
Tattoo Rescues. They sound familiar.
I don't know. I've never heard of any of these, to be honest with you. 2 times he was a director, 2 times he was a writer, release of music video. The guy's got real credits. The guy, is he gigantic? No, but there's a lot of guys like him in Hollywood.
Yeah, but that's a living. I mean,
it was. He gave it up. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what he's got a master's degree from UCLA in. It might be politics.
Maybe it's like Mickey Willis.
I don't know, but he is a constitutionalist, according to him from his broadcast yesterday, that then he fell in love with Trump. He doesn't like to be a Republican. He ran because that was the only ticket in Nevada that he could get on. He's a populist. He's just a little late to the show. He said he was a Democratic liberal. He started to move over with Trump. It's a very familiar story like mine. He was in the story sounds exactly like mine when I heard the guy the other day, to be honest with you.
Well, and in fairness, I think Trump mentioned all the way back in the 80s that if he was ever going to run, it'd have to be a Republican. Some of this is by the machines that are put up. You cannot change the Democratic Party from within with the structure they have now. The only party that can change is the Republicans because they don't have super delegates.
No, but it's really become a populist thing at this point.
Well, I agree, but it's the only place for a populist.
Yeah. If you want to be taken seriously.
Or can win. Pamela Clifton, I don't know if I posted this already, but happy Tuesday, guys. President Trump did an awesome job in Chicago with Bloomberg. Yeah, he had an interview with Bloomberg, apparently.
Mike Bloomberg or Bloomberg News?
Bloomberg News, I think.
He owns it.
Yeah.
How do you like how you haven't heard anything from Mike Bloomberg in the past 6-8 months, bro?
He doesn't have anything bad to say. He's a fellow New Yorker.
No, but I'm saying he hasn't come out to support Kamala Harris. He's been really quiet, Mike Bloomberg, and he was a traitor and a rat, but nevertheless, a quiet traitor and rat at this point.
Look, in my opinion, in many cases, the Democratic Party endorsing her are hostage videos. But whatever. Jenny's getting inky with it. Joe also held a press conference at the same time Kamala was doing something being covered, and so the network switched him. There we go. Another.
No, but they're claiming that this is the friction, whether it's intentional to undermine her or him flexing his muscles saying, I'm still president. We don't know. We really don't know. Or this could be the way the article I read was it's staff infighting of both staffs.
Right.
Which sounds a lot more realistically.
He may not be aware.
No. This sounds, and she may not even be privy to it either. This sounds like the battle of the staffs where the Biden staff is pissed off that these guys are acting like president and they're losing their jobs. They got nowhere to go. I mean, are they undermining him intentionally? Could be. There's just no evidence to prove it yet.
I could see the staffs doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure. I mean, I think it was her staff that got his social media changed. I still say that.
Oh, interesting.
I think that was an internal thing.
Pew
Pew with 10 America's Untold Stories memberships.
Who's going to get them? Who's going to get them? Who gets them?
I don't know. Whoever the YouTube gods determine. Rustus Android. Seriously, Mark, you've been a Democrat your whole life. How did you get so well sorted out? It's refreshing.
Well, we've talked about it, ad nauseum here. It's just because of Trump, basically. I mean, I had no idea what was, that this Democratic Party was the way it was. And I was raised in a union household. My dad was a transit worker, not a transit worker, it was a TWU, it was a transit workers union. But he was a jet engine mechanic. And that's the way we were raised. We're Kennedy Democrats, and grew up that way. And the party, like Dershowitz says, the party moved. I didn't move. The party moved. I mean, I still hate the CIA. I still hate the FBI. And it's exactly the same as when I was 16 years old. I didn't really change anything. They're the ones that all of a sudden embraced war, embraced the CIA, embraced the FBI, defunded the police and everything else. I mean, I basically did not get anything sorted out. I mean, I just, embraced the populist movement like everyone else who supports Trump.
And I hope it maintains, because it seems like every time somebody gets into power, then they start to embrace their powerful, tools.
Well, I thought that his son would embrace it as opposed to someone else. That I had high hopes that it was going to be his son, Don Jr., and I still have high hopes for that.
For what? For
the successor of Trump? Yeah, for the next successor of Trump, which has to be discussed
immediately.
Well, it's going to be 4 years. I mean, somebody's got to do it in 4 years. So it depends how
obviously there's a guy sitting there right now who probably would be up.
Yeah, no, it could be. Yeah. I'm saying, and I thought that's pretty recent. My prediction was that it would be his son. It may not be his son. It may obviously be the guy sitting there right now, like you said. I don't know. But you have to discuss the successor.
Right. Well,
maybe not today, but I mean, you have to really
like
talk
the Bushes. Have one in between. I could see like a Bush situation, because you had Clinton in between the two Bushes.
Yeah. Well, we can't allow that anymore. No, we can't let the, to be honest,
it could be
we can
Vance
never,
between the two Trumps.
Right. No. I agree. But I'm saying we can never allow them to get back in power for a generation. They cannot be allowed to govern. They have to be arrested. They have to be indicted. They have to be jailed. Many of them have to be called on the carpet and put before, grand juries. This has to have repercussions. There has to be blowback. There has to be payback. There has to be some repercussions to what they did, and not be allowed to rule ever again. I mean, Jamie Raskin is now saying he's never going to verify the Trump election vote. I mean, they are going to fight to stay in power at all costs. And we're going to have looting. We're going to have rioting. Bongino talked about it on Friday. There's going to be all kinds of looting and rioting across the country. Everyone knows that. The plywood is going to disappear. Everyone's going to head for the hills. I'm going to be in Boca, so I'm staying for a few weeks in Florida. I'm hunkering down in a red state, bro. But it's going to happen, and they're not going to take this lying down. They're going to go batshit crazy. Whether she is appointed by Biden, as I have predicted, with Biden stepping down and allowing her to govern for a couple of months, may lead to even more anarchy with executive orders. So I don't know. And if Biden stays on, I don't know what that's going to be like. Don't forget we got the November.
I'm leaning to abstain. I'm kind of leaning to abstain.
Look, we still have the November 26th arraignment date that's hovering over him like a sword of Damocles. We don't know how that's going to go. Or they're not going to punt. I mean, that's a situation where they're going to either do something or not do something. I don't know what they're going to do other than incarceration on the 26th. But Barnes seems to think it's all going to disappear. I have my doubts.
Well, it depends. If he wins the election, odds are much more in the favor of it disappearing.
Oh no, I agree. But I still don't think it's going to disappear by winning the election. I'm sorry. These people are nuts. They're effing nuts.
They may be, but there are people above them who aren't necessarily.
No, people above them are. People above them are too. I mean, we'll see what happens in the appellate court, which they were covering the other day about the questioning of the state lawyer that represented the state. But the other judges didn't seem to ask any questions whatsoever. So we'll see how.
Fortunately, it was 2 out of the 5, so that's good.
It was 2 out of the 5, but it leaves 3, maybe a 3-2 ruling against Trump.
No, for him. The ones who were asking questions, there was 3 asking the questions, the 2 silent. Right. So the majority were the ones kind of pushing at him. So
we'll see what the vote is.
Yeah. Steve Benson with $10. Thank you, Steve, very much. Bass player 2011 at 5. Okay. I like Dorr. His leaving the Dems arc has been fun to watch, but his takes on Israel are asinine.
That's what I'm talking about. That's all I'm talking about. I mean, these takes by Greenwald, by Blumenthal, by Dorr are juvenile. They're absolutely juvenile. It makes absolutely no sense. You might as well align with Hitler at this point, because that's where the line has been drawn between the theocratic, brutal mullahs of Tehran and the democratically elected, non-genocidal state of Israel. I mean, give me a break. I mean, these two choices are so stark and so dark. I don't even know how you perpetuate an argument in support of Tehran anymore.
Yeah, I agree. Sean Lucan with 10 America's Untold Stories memberships. Thank you, Sean. Sean's been donating.
Yeah, he's coming up. I mean, he's a new kid on the block, and he wants to get his name out there. I don't blame him.
I think it's great. And Not Noir is been a member for 3 months. Thank you very much. Kiki Ray has been a member for 12 months. Happy year. 12 whole months. It's been amazing. Happy anniversary.
We have a guy in the Dodgers named Kiki Hernandez who grounded into a 5.43 the other day and killed us in this rally. But Kiki's done a lot of stuff at the post, so we'll forgive him.
Okay.
People know what I'm talking about.
Someone do. Eric Pekalis, or Eric's Pekalis? I don't know what that is. Did you guys see that Biden signed an executive order allowing Dems to block certification of the election if Trump wins? I wonder how this would hold up legally.
I haven't heard that.
I haven't heard
anything about that, bro.
and it
Highly
wouldn't
doubtful.
even matter.
Highly doubt. Yeah, it would
He
be
can't
the front page.
he can't authorize Congress to do anything or
No, of course
disauthorize
not.
it. It's a different branch. It doesn't make sense.
Thank you for the money, though.
Charlie Two Hands, NGOs are playing a huge part in the missing kids. They should be shut down. It's bullshit. The government funds this crap.
Absolutely, Charlie. I mean, these are phony NGOs. These are NGOs who are dealing with selling these children. This has got to stop. These NGOs have to be, shut down, and they have to have the money turned off. Some of them are under the cover of religious churches doing this stuff. That's their cover. It's Sirhan came in from Beirut, Sirhan under a Christian church that placed him and his family in Pasadena, by the way.
Awesome. Oh, hey, Rumble Rant from Amdrum12.
What?
Just booked our trip for election night. My wife and I are driving down from Georgia.
That's what I'm talking about.
You guys.
That's
join us.
Right. Now we're talking. That's right. Get in a car and vote, then drive. Vote, then drive. How far is it from Georgia? 12 hours? It might be 12 hours. But
it's a while because
but that's okay. It's better than flying, bro. My rule: if you can drive, if I could drive, I drive. If I have to fly, I'll fly. But if it's within driving distance for anything, I'm going to rather drive.
All right, and we look forward to many free drinks.
Yeah, look, I hope Hunley just loves this. He just can't believe it, Hunley. Dude, I don't give a shit. Let's go. Let's win some battleground states. Let's get some drinks to these people. Every single battleground state, Trump wins. Round of drinks on me.
Jenny's getting inky with it. Local distance on, I guess that's Twitter. They're showing the bird, or maybe a bird. Had a good thread about the larger issue regarding plagiarism, comparing it to the 2008 financial crisis. Worth the read. I don't know how you would relate those.
I don't know what that means, but
plagiarism in the financial crisis. That's a interesting tie.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know. And thank you, Elwood. I forgot his.
Tina Fey. Yeah, Tina Fey. Right.
And she did do a great job.
I haven't watched the show in 20 years.
Oh, that's about
Gilbert Gottfried called it a famous failed restaurant in a good location.
Okay.
It's a great Gilbert line.
Well, he had a pretty short run on it, didn't he?
Yeah, he didn't like it.
So
they didn't like it, and they didn't understand him.
No. Well, my favorite is
Robert Downey had it. I mean, there was weird people
who
came and went, who just had these one. I think Sarah, what's her name? Silverman had a run on there too. There are comics who've been on there that didn't fit in.
Well, my favorite though was when Norm Macdonald got fired and then brought back a year and a half later or whatever to host it, and he's like, I don't know if you know, I was fired from the show, and he said, so either I've gotten really good or this show must really suck.
Yeah.
Something like that is hilarious. Let me see. Where else can you get factual, often untold history and current events commentary wrapped in a riveting and often hilarious show? Thanks, gentlemen.
I don't know. Maybe here. We've been doing this. How long have we been doing this?
We're going on 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years now. Of this. Jesus Christ.
As a matter of fact, the 21st, I think, 22nd, a week from today
of October
is, I think, our 3rd-year anniversary.
Okay, you could come to Boca and celebrate the 3rd anniversary of America's Untold Story with us, you fat bastard.
A couple of weeks late, but
who cares? It doesn't matter. You're just going to be sitting there with your spouse alone in your living room watching election returns when you could be with us. I mean, think about
everybody else.
And everybody else. I mean, win or lose. I mean, I'd rather be with people that I'm comfortable with. If we lose and we win, whatever the choice is, I'd rather be with people than be alone on that night. It's like being alone New Year's Eve. It's so dark and depressing.
That's true. We're there to save you from
I mean, there might be an acceptance speech that night that we will be broadcasting. You know what I mean? Or somebody who's, it might be an early night, is what I'm saying. And if you know what I mean.
Well, if he gets I think it actually will be an early night. If he picks up Georgia, if he gets Georgia, North Carolina, then Pennsylvania might find the results.
Yeah,
they might be like, okay, well, man, never mind.
I mean, how long can you keep counting? There's not that many absentee ballots this time. You know, you could just
True.
say we're not going to count and just bullshit the tally, but the networks are going to be showing progress of votes and may call them early, as is their druthers.
Mm-hmm. I think it's possible. Scott Bimbo, dang it, Mark, I was trying to get Dustin to believe your house was being fumigated, but you were immune to it because of your
That's
chemical
funny.
past.
That's funny.
Under distress.
Right. This is my house being fumigated. That's pretty funny. Thanks, Scott.
Big Fish, Mark, what are the Dodgers doing with the
I don't know.
home runs
So everybody's asked me that. Something Kiki came up with, Kiki Hernandez, that we just mentioned, the one of the bench guys for the Dodgers, where they bang crotches together now after he hits a home run. They bang their crotches into each other like a belly. It's not crotches. It's like a belly bounce, you know, where you bang. I've seen it before, but not this year. I mean, this is something Kiki made up for the Post. So it's a new thing. Everybody's asking me. I saw it for the first time when he hit a home run, and then did it with Will Smith or whoever was on deck. But yeah, it's weird. It's definitely weird. But then the weirdest thing was after they beat the Padres and clinched, they brought over Kiki Hernandez on Fox, and they said, "How did you guys do it?" And he said, "Are we live? Is this a live show?" And she said, "Yeah." And he said, "Then go fuck yourselves." That's how he said. Dude, it was so crazy. I mean, then he walked away, and I almost fell off the couch. Oh, he said the quote was, "We don't give a fuck." Was actually the quote by Kiki.
Wow.
How did you get motivated? How did you pull this off? And he said, "Is this live?" And she said, "Yeah." And he says, "We don't give a fuck."
That's funny.
Yeah.
K-Dog, if Trump wins and the Dems take the House, they may vote on a resolution to say he's an insurrectionist and ineligible to be president.
Okay.
Well, if they win the House, they're going to win the House.
Yeah, good luck passing that in the Senate. It looks more and more like Tester is going to go down. It looks like Sherrod Brown is going to go down. It looks like at best a 50-50 split. That's at worst, I mean, a 50-50 split with a vice president tiebreaker. So that would mean 51-50, which a lot of people in LA get 51-50s and are taken to the nut house. But if we get a 51-50, that's as good as having, you know, whatever majority you want to have. But that it seems to be the worst case scenario is a 51-50 thing with Vance as the tiebreaker. So good luck trying to pass anything, get it through the Senate. But hopefully we retain the House and he can pass actual legislation for the first time. Both presidents, to be honest with you, it's been a long time that anything could get through the House, through Congress, because of the situation.
Last was his tax cut under Ryan, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time. And keep in mind, there's rhinos there, but they just have to be politically destroyed if they're going to stand up to Trump and the majority in the House. I mean, they just have to be crushed, and I mean crushed, if they're going to block him through rhino activity.
Fair enough. Ed McMahon's son is back, saying,
yeah,
I am man enough to bed Ruth Payne. Hey, Mark,
no.
What do you think she'll cry out during my performance?
I don't know. Stop poking me, McMahon. Stop poking me with that little thing. I don't know what she'd say, Steven. It's dark. It's definitely dark.
Wow.
We'd have to ask Max Good on that. Max Good may have been in there to get the interview for all we know. He may have had to done weird things to Ruth Payne to get that interview. I recommend Max Good's movie for anyone who wants to learn about Ruth Payne.
Yep. And we have an episode with Max too, where he talks about the movie and etc. And the second interview. Didn't that go up too?
Yeah.
Pew Pew would like to say that Brian D is cool.
Who's Brian D?
Somebody in the chat. I don't know. I can't.
Oh, maybe he got a membership.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Jenny's getting inky with it. I wonder if a part of the reason illegals were allowed is to be an insurgent force in the event of a civil war.
I don't think they could touch. I don't think they can move them around like that. I think that they will seize the chaos and loot with everyone else. They will be right in there in the looting. This will be one of the greatest weeks or months of their lives to be able to steal stuff like they saw on TV during the last time. They will be part of the looting.
Maybe someone. I mean, that's Who knows? Let me see. Amdrum 12 said we early voted today. We're
right on.
Heading to Florida early. They're the ones who are coming from Georgia. So already got it covered.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Sergeant Willie, great show as always, gents. Member
if Georgia
for
goes,
Thank you.
So goes the nation.
Yeah, I think so.
It might be. Yeah, if Georgia goes, I mean, that's indicative of other states, North Carolina and, Pennsylvania.
Everything up to Virginia. But wouldn't it be sweet to just have a red sweep the whole coast?
Yeah, I mean,
it's stop at New York or Jersey instead of stopping at that Virginia point.
Yeah.
You're like, just get a little bit higher. Dustin, good point. All states are battleground.
Wait, that's too. You're not going to pull that off, bro. Not going to buy into that. I know what he's up to. He's trying to say that every state that Trump wins, he will get a free drink. It's not how this game is played, Dustin. You know the rules.
Actually, if Trump wins enough states, it may be illegal. If he given too much alcohol, it could be like,
who knows? The bar is only open for 8 hours, so we'll have to keep drinking it for 8 hours.
Emily Clifton said, "I hope you interview President Trump."
At some point,
obviously the door's open.
The only time I met Trump was in a post SNL party at Rockefeller Center, and we were all jammed in the bar downstairs. And I turn around, and my nose is literally in Trump's face, and your eyes go up to the hair. I guess he's used to that. And I was looking at the hair, and he said, "Yes, it's real." And I go, "What?" And he says, "Do you want to touch it?" I go, "No, I don't want to touch it." Anyway, that was my encounter with Trump after an SNL a show, which we've just been talking about SNL. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Soul Doggy.
1999 or something. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Soul Doggy. Trump needs to initiate all his policies: women's sports, help Israel and Ukraine, arrest Fauci, Garland, Ray, DOE, court-martial Miley, flood the zone. They won't know what to scream about first. Good point.
Let's go. Who gives a
does
shit
at the
what they're
same
screaming
time?
Yeah.
They'll be like,
Who cares? What are they going to do? They're already screaming and yelling for 4 years. What difference does it make? I mean, just go for it. Like, you got to drive a stake through their vampire heart.
I agree. And I was thinking of this earlier too. Alex Davy Duke, thanks for the quality talk. Yes, I agree with Mark. The crazy memed lady will be screaming into the sky. Here's some more retroactive pay. You remember that one?
That crazy lady. She's going to be the speaker of their mental house.
Oh, no. I mean, that image is seared in 8 years later. I wonder how she'll be doing this round. That would be very funny. All right. Now, one thing that I want to discuss before we head over to locals is that if people are interested in locals and they're going to be at the event, they can always join locals, become a member, and there's a discount that will give 100% of the cost of the annual membership of locals to the event. So it's essentially getting locals for free. And locals is where we hang out, do a little bit after our shows here. We answer, tipped questions over there and other questions from the people. It's a private party. We can say words. We kind of pushed it on the words today. I don't know if we'll be demonetized or not. We'll find out.
We don't know. We're going to find out. But once Trump I got a feeling when Trump gets in, a lot of this is going to dissipate. The trickle-down effect of the culture, like Eric points out with Breitbart, is going to trickle down, hopefully, to us and other areas of the culture. And usually when there's that stark change at the top, the trickle-down effect happens in other areas that have been influenced by them. And you're starting to see them peel out their DEI heads at different companies. You're starting to see them peel away some of the leftover baggage of the Biden administration already.
Right. Well, I can say that the perfect example of that, as important as Trump, or even maybe more so, is Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Elon Musk has opened a lot of doors since he bought
Twitter.
Well,
so is RFK.
An example.
So is RFK. So is Tulsi Gabbard.
No,
So
no,
is
no. But I'm
Vivek.
talking about taking a social media company and
you're
literally ripping it out from under them.
Oh,
the primary one.
that was a big victory.
Huge.
That was a big
Huge.
victory. And I think you're going to see the same thing with Larry Ellison if he takes control of CBS. I think you're going to see the same thing with Peter Thiel with the next thing he does. And I think Zuckerberg is not going to be left out in the rain. I think he's going to move to the right. He's already made it
quietly.
Yeah. You're going to hear about a divorce from his Chinese honeypot wife. I predict she's going to go back to China, just like Fang Fang did with Eric Swalwell. This stuff's going to happen. Stuff happens when you have this massive change of leadership at the top.
Totally agree. And Brad Wilson says, help my mom with her ballet today, so I know Trump and Vance got one vote today. Hey.
Oh, right on, brother.
Or ballot today, sorry. Yep, helped your mom with the ballot. Cute. But every vote counts, obviously. But we're going to head over to locals. Hopefully, we will see you guys there.
Locals. What goes on at locals?
Yeah, locals. That's where all the cool kids are. And we'll see you there momentarily.
Okay.